Welcome to Toby Foreman Show. Glad you're joining us this evening. Whenever you might be listening to it, it's a bye week, and what a terrible time to have a bye week in the last week of the regular season, Toby.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a bad time if you're not going to the postseason, and so our postseason hopes are still alive. Unfortunately, we don't control what happens with us. So I would love to be doing a show with you next week this time, talking about our first round matchup with DeSoto. But as of right now, we got to have a couple things happen for us to make sure that we're in. But as we were just talking about, most of the time 7-3 record to get you in. You're pretty locked in. But I will tell you, this team has been extremely resilient. We've had some crazy things happen to us throughout the year. Had to go 11 straight weeks, play games, but I'm just proud of these guys, and I told them after the game the other night because they persevered through a lot. And this is a much improved team from last year, and that's the thing is we finished our last two games with L's, but that doesn't really dictate kind of who these guys are, And last week, matched up with Harker Heights, we're getting after them pretty good. They scored right there before the half. I mean, with about I think it was about 25, 30 seconds left in the half to take the lead. And we never got anything going in the second half where we could put the ball in the end zone. But I thought our defense probably played one of the better games of the year because, Coach Humble and those guys do a really good job on offense. And I was extremely impressed with their defense. That's, in my opinion, by far the best defense that we faced all year.
Yeah, that's why they're ranked number one in the district, I think. You're right up there, too.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, as far as defense goes, their dang Mike linebacker, number 22, is just a guy. I mean, he made some plays that were just incredible plays in that game, and he pretty much controlled the front, for a good part of that game. And so kudos to them, and I know they'll be going on the playoffs, which, another KISD school, that's a good thing. But, back to this team, I'm just extremely proud of them and what they've accomplished over the 4 years. You look, they have the winningest 4 years in the history of the school. They won 32 games
Wow.
to this point. And that's a big deal. It was our first freshman class when we were in 5A. They were undefeated. That's a big deal. You look at our sub-varsities. That's what we were talking about a while ago. Our sub-varsities this year were district champions or co-district champions on all levels. Our A teams didn't lose a district game. We had one loss by our freshman B team. So our sub-varsity suffered one total loss. We have 5 teams, and of the 5 teams, we have 4 district losses. I mean, that is extremely impressive. So our A team JV was undefeated in district. Our A team freshmen were undefeated in district, and our JV B team was undefeated in district. And that's, and then our freshman B team lost to Harker Heights, and they're co-champions. But that's extremely impressive because, we've never done that since we've been here. So it's a total program, and there's total buy-in. Like I've said all year, we lost a lot of kids in the off season because they didn't buy in. And, we're starting to kind of reap the benefits of that. This program is set for years to come, in my opinion, especially now dropping back down in 5A.
Yeah, that's what it looks like from all the projections I've seen in various sources that we may possibly have 4 out of the 5 teams, if not all 5, drop back down. But probably 4, I think, is what they're looking at right now. But hopefully 5. All KISD district almost. Throw another team in there and you'd be all KISD district. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, and there's just no telling when things like that start happening, you kind of get to see, the cream rise to the top at all times. But when I first got here, there was no chaparral, but all 4 teams were in the same district. And then, we had Midway was in there with us, Belton, there was no Lake Belton, and then Copper's Cove, and that was our district. And so that was pretty cool. I've been up and down the last 4 years as far as 5A to 4A, 5A to 6A. And, going back down, I think that benefits the entire athletic program. Yeah. Because number-wise in football we can compete, but some of our other sports struggle to compete number-wise when you face off against the Temples and the Midways and the Coves. I believe Midway turned in like 2,800 kids. That's a lot of folks. We got barely over 2,100. So when somebody's got 700 more kids than you, in some of them other sports, that definitely makes a difference. Not in football, but definitely in some of them spring sports.
Well, I know nothing has stopped around here. You're practicing like there's another game this week, like there's another game next week. Just watched a bunch of young men come off the field after doing some running and conditioning. Yeah, they looked a little tired, brother.
Yeah, that was our freshmen, and they're just getting a little taste of the. When they get done, we always start the off season with them.
They're big,
and so they are big. And they're fast. This is probably top to bottom the fastest group of freshmen I've ever had in any school I've ever been in, and that's saying a lot because I've been in some really fast places. But there's about 9 or 10 kids in there that can roll, and so it'll be a fight this year to see who's on the 4x1 and 4x2 and 4x4, But we're excited about this group, and we're excited about the other groups. I counted yesterday. I believe we lose 31 seniors, and which is kind of a big number for us. But there's still 70-some of those freshmen that are left, and that's a big deal because anytime you got a chance to move those young guys up, and they're practicing this week with the varsity during the bye week, and hopefully, like I said, they're practicing next week and weeks to come for the postseason. Some of these guys, if we do end up going to the postseason, will play on the varsity in some of those playoff games. But anyway, we're excited about the future, and I think the future is very bright here for a long time.
Well, we'll be hoping that everything turns out right in your direction on Thursday and Friday night. Most of these games being played on Thursday night because playoffs the following week, I guess, and plus the 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend coming up.
Well, it'll be 4-day for KISD. I don't know if it's like that everywhere.
But yeah, that's coming up next week, of course, so they're getting ready for that. So everything goes on the schedule here, except you don't get on the bus on Friday night and go anywhere this week.
That is correct.
Otherwise,
Thursday I'll be in DeSoto, scouting DeSoto and Lancaster, just like I did last year. And
I thought you'd come do the game with me out of Chaparral and color commentary.
No, who's Chaparral playing? Who they finished with? I think they play Lake Belton.
Yeah, Lake Belton. It is Lake Belton, who also may be moving up to 6A. I heard maybe possibly.
Yeah, I think they're close. I don't think they'll quite make it this time. They'll probably make it next time. I think we'll probably end up being in the same district, but we'll see. The UILs you never know what they're going to do.
No.
We got to wait a little bit to figure out who's where and what the cutoff is and all that. But wherever they tell us to go, we'll go. And the problem we run into is finding the non-district games. Sometimes that's a little tricky.
Yeah.
And so right now I've got 3 out of 4 people that have committed to playing us in the non-district, and trying to look for that fourth one. Week 1 is going to be a struggle. We may have to travel a little bit, which is fine. But I don't mind traveling as long as it's just one time in that non-district. Because these last 2 years have been kind of good. We've kept everybody close. It's been team from Mexico came here. We played Ellison, played University, and then Round Rock was our road game. But Round Rock dropped us, so we won't be playing them again. And just looking at our schedule, it looks like there's either going to be 7 or 8 teams that we play this year. They're going to be playoff teams.
Yeah.
And if we're in, it's 7. If we're not, it's 8.
Right.
And of those 8, we will have beaten 5 of them, and that's pretty good, pretty tough schedule.
Yeah.
And that's why I say kudos to these kids because what they've kind of accomplished in this 4 years has been extremely impressive.
Well, of course, thanks for coming out Wednesday night to Raising Cane's. We had a great time out there with the kids and with all the folks that dropped by, and always good to have just to talk football with you is always fun. It may not be high school football. You never know where our conversations go, but it's definitely entertaining when we get together and do the show. And I appreciate you coming out to do the show this past Wednesday. Appreciate it.
No, and Boomer Sooner.
Hey, thank you. Hey, and we beat a Sooner.
Who you got this week?
I don't know, but we got Alabama the week after.
I think it's somebody tough, but I could be wrong. Y'all's schedule's tough, but everybody in the SEC schedule's pretty tough.
In the SEC.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah,
ain't no
so,
question. But
it all comes down to a quarterback.
Yeah, it does. Exactly. He's playing better, though.
Yeah.
Playing better. But anyway, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for coming out today. And as always, go Gray Wolves.
This has been an I-14 Sports Network production, bringing the heat from the heart of Central Texas.